Hello folks, this is Sullla speaking. You're listening to another video for League of Legends. This game we're going to be looking at support Pyke. Pyke is one of the more interesting supports. He's actually one of the most recent champions to be added to the game as I record this video. And what makes him really unusual is just his character design. Pyke is essentially an assassin support, which is something that you never really would think that you'd see. But yes, a support who is essentially designed to be an assassin. And he's been seeing a lot of play. He was kind of introduced, I believe he was introduced following the patch that was used for Worlds. So I don't think he was eligible for Worlds. I could be wrong on that because I wasn't following the competitive scene as closely there. But I believe that we haven't seen him too much in competitive just for that because he is one of the most recent champions, but not 100% sure on that, so apologies if I get that wrong. This game has been sent to me by Rienzo. Rienzo is the support Pyke in this game, so we're going to look at a little bit of the gameplay there. There's also a level 1 fight here between Sion and Urgot that almost turns into a kill for one of the two players. So let me go ahead and set up the lanes because they did have some, apparently some swaps on both teams here. So Urgot's top, Jarvan's jungle. There, that should do it. So this was sent to me by Rienzo. He's going to be playing the support Pyke. He is laning alongside a Lucian player. If you want to just run through all the lanes, we're going to have a Sion against an Urgot up in top, as you probably saw the two of them clashing earlier. We're going to have a Riven against a Neeko in mid, and sooner or later I'm going to have to do a Neeko video, not this one, but I will get around to it sooner or later. In the jungle, there's going to be a jungle Jarvan for one team, and there's going to be a jungle Udyr for the other team. I have no idea why Udyr is so late getting to his camps. I guess he's going to get to his blue in time, but just barely. And then it's going to be a Twitch Shen lane against a Lucian and Pyke lane. So they were camping out in the brush. They go ahead and grab and get the initial pull on Twitch. Twitch is going to flash over, and they probably should just leave it at that. Instead, they're going to flash after, and Lucian is going to claim first blood. But he dies in the process, and I genuinely do not think it was worth it because they had to end up blowing more of the summoners. Twitch got a counter kill back, and I think they would have come out ahead if they had just taken the flash, taken the heal on Twitch, and then instead of flashing over the wall after him, I think they would have been better off just going and laning. Twitch would have had to go back anyway. He would have been really, really far behind in the lane, and they would not have had to blow 4 summoners. I think they could have gotten away with just using the Ignite. But went for the kill, did get the kill. Ultimately, I think it's somewhat questionable as to whether it was worth it, but enough of that. Let's look at Pyke then. So there's a nice taunt. You see the support Shen, yeah, and yes, it is a support Shen, something that has been played quite a bit in competitive. Wow, they actually managed to get the flash out of Shen there. I'm not sure that was needed, but it was, they were able to get that flash out. Okay, so as I said, Pyke is essentially an assassin in support form. He's got a number of different things that make him... His kit is honestly probably a little overloaded with stuff right now. I suspect that his numbers are going to get tamped down at some point, particularly if we start seeing him used more in competitive play, just because he's quite strong. Well, we'll get to that in a second. So right now we have another fight. A nice taunt by the support Shen is going to pick off that kill. So this lane has actually started out pretty poorly for Rienzo's team right here. Anyway, like I said, so I think he's a little bit overtuned just because he can do like a ton of different things, and particularly in comparison to some of the older champions, the amount of kind of just stuff that's packed into Pyke's kit is a little bit silly. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'll start with his passive. Passive is Gift of the Drowned Ones. If Pyke cannot be seen by enemies, he rapidly recharges 36% of damage he's taken up to a cap. You can see currently it's 222. It does go up as the game goes on. The second part of this is really quite interesting. Additionally, Pyke converts all extra maximum health from any source into attack damage, 180 per 14 health, currently getting 6 AD out of that. So really quite interesting here. This means that Pyke is never going to be able to be played as any kind of frontline champion because he literally cannot take advantage of health from items. Like you see Pyke going the Relic Shield route, which is kind of the tanky support item, but he's not going to benefit from any of that bonus health that comes via the Relic Shield line of support items. It's all going to be converted into damage, and not converted at a very good ratio. It's, what is it, 14 health for 1 damage. It's not a very good ratio. So Pyke is never going to be tanky. He's never going to have much health to work with. He's always going to be very frail, and you might as well just build damage items on him instead of like tanky-ish support items because they're not even going to be useful on him. Like, he's just going to get a poor conversion of health into AD. So you might as well just build AD items on him. And this is part of why he kind of has to be an assassin. Just his kit doesn't really allow him to be anything other than an assassin due to the way that that passive functions. So Twitch has gone back to buy. He's picked up an early Vamp Scepter, and right there you're going to see the hook. So good time to talk about the first of the Pyke abilities, and that is his Q. So, well, we'll get to that. We have more action going on here. So another Shen taunt. That one's going to miss. And in fact, Shen's getting quite low. Are they going to be able to finish him off here? No, not quite. Oh, Lucian dashes in. That's probably a mistake because he has no flash. And yeah, he's going to get killed. So as soon as Lucian dashed in, I can't recall the name of it. It was his, I believe it's his E. The name of it's escaping me. I think it's like Relentless Pursuit or something like that. Let me just highlight him here. It is Relentless Pursuit. Yeah, as soon as he dashed in, there was no way to get out. Meanwhile, Udyr is now coming in to gank the lane, and that should be enough to get a kill on this Shen, but it's a really good exhaust coming out that's going to finish off the Udyr, and now Rienzo's in trouble, and he's not going to be able to escape either, and uh-oh, that's a double kill for Twitch. So this lane is starting out in horrible fashion, with Twitch going 5-1, and having already an 800 gold bounty on him, whereas Lucian's died 3 times, Rienzo has died on his support Pyke. So this lane's going just horribly thus far, and they're going to have a major uphill struggle to try to turn this one around down here in bottom lane. Alright, so back to Pyke's abilities, which we haven't had a chance to look at too much yet since there's been a lot of action. We're going to start with this Q. This is Bone Skewer. You can use it 2 ways. You can just tap the Q, in which case Pyke stabs enemies in front of him. I almost never see Pykes use it for just the tap. They almost always use it for the second, which is the hold. Pyke throws his harpoon, pulling the first enemy struck towards him, deals physical damage. Targets hit by either attack are slowed by 90% for 1 second. The way that this works is it's probably most similar to kind of the way that Thresh hooks somebody. Pyke will just toss out a straight line skill shot, and if he hits it, he will pull the target towards him by a small amount, and then also slow them by 90% for 1 second. It's quite useful. It's the most visible part of his kit. I didn't really know that much about what Pyke does until I saw this video, but I knew that he had this ability. And so you can see that, there it is right there. That was the Bone Skewer? Is that what it's called? Bone Skewer. That was the Bone Skewer right then. It's on a medium length cooldown, 14 seconds. I guess it's kind of longish as far as cooldowns go. But a great initiating tool, a great way to grab enemies, reposition them, force them into places that you don't want them to be, and a great way to set up plays. It's kind of his combo starter is a good way to think about it. Right now, the enemy team is looking to invade the blue buff, and Shen gives off another great taunt. I don't think the enemy team, I don't think that Udyr realized quite how strong the Twitch was as a result of getting all those early kills. So that's the 6th kill now. And right there, you're going to see Rienzo dash in with his E, which we'll talk about in a minute. The Nico has come over from mid and manages to get a stun with the Nico ultimate right there. Meanwhile, Rienzo is actually going to pick up that particular kill. Lucian's going to die again, though, and Nico is now surrounded by members of the enemy team. So Nico's going to claim 1 kill, but gets pulled in by Urgot. And ultimately, I think that was, what, like a 3 for 2, I think? It wasn't a great fight. Now, Udyr tries to go back in again. He's getting slowed. There's the Bone Skewer right there. You might have seen Jarvan getting pulled there. So yeah, not great. I'd say that was largely inconclusive, except that the blue buff was taken by somebody. So I think the net result of that was roughly even kills on both sides, but Udyr didn't get his blue buff. So probably very slightly advantageous to... Oh, never mind. I was going to say slightly advantageous for blue side, except that Twitch died in that, and Twitch had an 800 gold spree. So whoever killed him, and there were too many kills, I didn't catch who it was. Whoever killed him picked up 800 gold. I think it was actually Rienzo who picked up that kill, because he's got quite a bit of gold. Or maybe not. Maybe not. And yeah, Lucian goes forward, and Twitch just de-stealths and blows up poor Lucian almost immediately. I will say I don't like this Twitch build very much. Usually, my understanding, I could be wrong on this, but my understanding is Twitch usually goes for Blade of the Ruined King first. Instead, he's gone into an early Zeal, and I don't know. Feels like kind of a weird item to rush this early on Twitch. I could be wrong, though. I'm not as up-to-date on what the current Twitch builds are. So, we were talking to get back to Pyke. Well, we've got kind of a minute here. We talked a little bit about Pyke's Q, about his Bone Skewer, about how he can use it to kind of grab enemies and pull them toward him. The next skill that you'll see Pyke use a lot is his E. This is his Phantom Undertow. So this gives Pyke a dash. He will dash forward, and the range is pretty good. I'd say it's like a roughly 700 range dash, something like that. Range is pretty good. He will dash, and then he will leave a Phantom behind him. After a short delay, the Phantom returns to Pyke, strikes all enemies along its path for physical damage, and stuns. There it is right there. That right there was the Phantom dash. So he dashes forward, he leaves a little Phantom trail behind him, and after a brief delay, maybe like a half-second or so delay, it will then stun anyone along that path for 1.1 seconds. And as you get more, it looks like as you get more AD, what is the red text? I believe is that an AD ratio? Well, you can get more stun on this over time if you are able to build something. I believe it's more AD, but I'm not 100% sure, but the stun duration can increase. So this gives the Pyke player mobility. This is his ability that lets him like dash around the map. And it also gives him hard crowd control. Oh, there's the Pyke ultimate. We'll talk about that in a second. Right there it is, right there. There was the E dash in. Unfortunately, Rienzo doesn't hit anyone with his bone skewer, so now he's going to have to back off. He ends up flashing. I don't think he had to flash there. Honestly, I think he could have just walked out of that. But does end up flashing. Was able to pick up 1 kill on that roam mid. So overall, worth it. Too bad he had to blow the flash right there. So let's look at the Pyke W, which I haven't talked as much about. This is essentially a 1-point skill. You don't need any more than just the 1 point in this skill. But it's kind of one of those other things that also makes Pyke an assassin, because it gives him stealth. When you tap W, Pyke gains camouflage, and he also gains a movement speed, decaying movement speed for 5 seconds. Starts at 40%, goes up as you get more points in the skill. So gives him kind of a quick burst of speed, and he also goes stealth briefly. And while he's stealth, that's where his passive can function. If Pyke can't be seen by enemies, he rapidly regenerates lost health. So that's where his Gift of the Drowned One's passive also kicks in as well, is when he goes stealth, he gets some health back. It's probably most similar to the gray health on Tom Kench, if you want to think of it that way. When he goes into stealth, he can get a little bit of his health back, but only up to so much of a cap. It won't just give him all of his health back. He can get back a certain percentage of what he's lost. Regenerate 48% of damage he's recently taken from champions. Okay, so right now it's up to 617 health he can get back. So these are the basics of Pyke's kit. You've got the Q as kind of your initiating tool to grab people, pull them in, reposition them, and slow them. Let's see if we can watch it at work. So right there, gets the grab in. There is the dash. And now the Riven player is able to escape it because she walked away from that line of kind of the stealth minions. And then you've got your W to go camouflage and also give you kind of a brief movement speed burst in the process. So, yeah, still fighting, still lurking around here on kind of the tail edges of the fight. Right there, you went camouflage. It's when he starts to look kind of like a fish is when he's in camouflage. And right there, you're going to see 2 kills pulled off by Pyke. So let's talk about Pyke's ultimate, shall we? Because that's what you just saw being used there, even though I hadn't described it yet. Pyke's ultimate, Death from Below. Pyke strikes all enemy champions in an X, blinking to and executing targets below a certain health threshold. The indicator will actually tell you which champions you can execute. And there it is again. Then you might say, wait a minute, why did he just use the execute on a minion wave? Well, that is due to the fact that he can recast this ultimate if he gets a kill on an enemy. When an enemy champion dies in the X from any source, an assisting ally also gains full kill gold, so he can share the gold for the kill with someone else, again, Pyke being intended to be played as a support. And Pyke can then recast Death from Below again within 20 seconds. So that right there was kind of a use it or lose it. Rienzo had picked up 2 kills with his ultimate, and after that he still had it and he was just going to lose it. So he just ulted the minion wave for the free damage because it was just going to be lost otherwise. The fact that his ultimate can be recast repeatedly is super nice in a team fight. He can cast it multiple times. Now, of course, that does mean that the support is getting kills, which normally you wouldn't want. But hey, the fact that he gets to share the gold with another member of his team means that it's not that bad. And this is, again, sort of how you make the assassin as support thing works. Is when the support gets kills, with his ultimate, he is sharing the gold with other members of the same team. So some creative work on designing this champion. Right there, you see Rienzo dash in. He actually did not have his ultimate, but he's able to dash forward. There is the pull-in with the bone skewer, enough to get Riven taking tower damage. There is the W. Anytime Pyke, I kind of mentioned this before, but anytime Pyke looks like he's kind of swimming through the air, anytime he looks like he's kind of become a fish and is just paddling through thin air, that is him using his W to go Swatter Dive. And again, this is his 1-point skill. You only need 1 point in it. You can get pretty much the whole benefit with 1 point. More points in the skill will, I believe, give you more... I'm not exactly sure what more points in the skill does. I think it gives him a higher movement speed, the decaying movement speed, but I'll have to check when Rienzo actually puts more points in the skill. So we'll come back to that. That is the full kit, though. The Q to initiate, the W to provide stealth and allow him to move around the map a little bit faster. The E allows him to dash, and the E also provides his only hard crowd control in the form of that stun. Yeah, you can see it. So as he's getting more AD, as he's getting more, yeah, I believe it's as he's getting more AD, he gets more of the movement speed buff on his W, and he gets a longer stun duration on his E. And then the ult, of course, as you get more points in it, obviously does more damage. So we do have a little bit of a fight over here, it looks like. We're trying to chase this down mid. It's been a little bit of a disorganized game, and right here, Jarvan, you can see, Jarvan's actually going to re-initiate there, and then continue to run through, which is a bold choice on his part. And it does not end up working out for Jarvan. Oh, right there, a great Bone Skewer in, and then the ultimate's going to pick off the kill on Twitch. Really nicely done. So they're going to go in stealth for the movement speed bonus. A nice root from Nico, followed by the Nico ult, and then Pyke's going to claim the kill again. And look at all that money going over to Nico. That is the passive function. Well, not the passive. It's the secondary function on Pyke's ultimate. He shares all that gold with Nico. So you should never feel too bad about Pyke getting the kills. You can see his ult is still up. You can still technically cast it. But it's about to go on cooldown. Yeah, and see the 20 seconds finally times out. Also, we'll show you on the interface the total gold granted, 1,100 gold in the death from below. And that pretty much gives you the basics of how this works. Rienzo's team is going to take this Mountain Drake. They are still behind in this game, but they've done a good job of clawing this back from what looked like an utter disaster, considering that the Twitch, I mean, if you remember, the Twitch started out 6-1, with the one death being that level 1 dive under the turret. But Twitch is now 7-5-1, and Twitch has really been kind of neutered in effectiveness as a result of dying a whole bunch of times. As far as the skilling order for Pyke, let's take a minute to cover that right now. We've got a couple seconds here. The skilling order is Q first. You want this skill to be up as much as possible because it's such a useful initiating tool. More points in this skill, I believe, will lower the cooldown. I think it was like 14 seconds when Rienzo started. Now it's down to 6 seconds. And he does have some cooldown reduction, but not enough. Right there, they're going to look to go in and grab Twitch, and Nico's going to grab that kill. So, skill the Q first. Next up, skill your E second. If you're watching this, Rienzo is mostly using his Q and his E. He is not using his W all that often. And as mentioned, you can pretty much get max benefit from this skill. Oh, right here, they're going to go in. There's the stun from the Pyke W right there. Rienzo is then going to look to claim the kill. He actually does not get it with his ult, so it will not come off of... Well, actually, no, it does still come off of cooldown. Interesting, so even with his allies taking those kills, he can still ult again. That's really interesting. I guess maybe his ult didn't go off. But they are going to claim those 2 kills, and with those 2 kills, they've been able to even up this game. And if you notice, the red team was way behind earlier, but thanks to these plays that they've been pulling off, they've actually managed to claw this all the way back and get up to a 1,000 gold lead. So they've really managed to turn this game around thanks to some good plays. And at this point, they're going to look to take the Rift Herald. Couple quick words about the Rift Herald. If you are new to League or returning to League after a long break like I am, you might not have seen the Rift Herald before. Basically, the Rift Herald is an objective that you can claim. It spawns before Baron, and if you claim the Rift Herald, it then allows you to summon it and then push a lane, and you can basically summon the big shelled monster, who is affectionately known as Shelly. And you can then use it to push lanes. It will attack the turrets, and it can both make an individual push much stronger, or it can make it much easier to take a turret. And we'll see. It's kind of interesting that Nico's the one who picked it up. Nico's the one who actually picked up the Eye of the Herald. Normally, general convention is for the jungler to pick this up, but mid laner grabbed it in this game. And we'll see if Nico actually remembers to summon it. Oftentimes people forget to summon it. So Rienzo looking to initiate there. He unfortunately missed his E to get the stun, but Nico's on top of it. Nico uses her ult, the Pop Blossom, and is able to get the stun. So they're able to pick off that kill on the, what is it, the, wow, I am blanking on the champion's name right now. That is really bizarre. Manages to get the kill on the enemy champ, and now the team kind of can do a lot. They did manage to pick off that kill. And, oh, there you go. Okay, oh, so that's a shame. Yep, see, Nico trying to summon the Rift Herald, but Riven able to interrupt it. You do have to channel to summon it. And so that largely just goes to waste. Let's see, Scion initiating up there, unfortunately whiffs. And now he's going to get tangled up by these two. Pyke should really be up here. Pyke should probably not just be wandering the map. So Rienzo probably looking to get up here. Let's see if he can manage to get here before Scion. Oh, Scion flashes, but does not manage to catch his, not manage to catch on his stun, and he's going to die to Twitch as well. Pyke, though, does manage to hit it, and by the way, the Pyke ultimate, it is a skill shot. It is not like a point-and-click ability. It is a skill shot, so you do have to make sure you hit it. And this fight really has not gone well. Given that they had managed to pick off that kill in mid, you really think that they would have gotten more. Oh, that's nice, though. The nice job by the Nico player to get that binding with the Nico Tangle Barbs. Manages to get that root, and so they're able to pull off that kill. But honestly, a little bit wasteful. They didn't use the Rift Herald there. They weren't able to take advantage of killing the Urgot player. Oh my god, how could I have forgotten his name was Urgot? I'm going to blame it on the champion model looking so much different now as opposed to like 4 years ago. So, like I said, they got the Rift Herald, but that was wasted. They got a kill on Urgot, but that was wasted. And I think they really could have seized control of the game there, but just kind of let that opportunity go to waste. And granted, they're still 2,000 gold ahead, but maybe not ahead as far as they could be in this game right now. And I don't know why Udyr is clearing a ward instead of shoving this tower. Maybe he thought that there were enemy champions there. Maybe. I'm not sure. So now they're going to look to fight down here in bottom lane. And they're going to look to catch Urgot again. So they do manage to catch Urgot, but they're going to make a huge mistake here. They are using a ton of abilities on Urgot. They don't quite get him, but watch this. Lucian runs back here. I'm going to slow it down. Lucian runs back here to try to get the kill on Urgot. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is team fighting. And Lucian really should have been back with the team right here. So he gets the kill, but then he dies to the tower instead of staying with the rest of the team. And as a result of Lucian going off away like that, they are not going to get the initial kill. Rienzo was blown up early in the fight, and it looks okay at this point. But then Twitch is going to come in and open up with Spray and Pray. He pulls one kill. And let's see, can he get another kill? Yes, he gets another kill, and now gets a third kill. And with that Twitch triple kill, the blue team actually manages to ace them, and it turns into a disaster of a fight. Making matters even worse, Riven was not even there for that fight. Riven was back at the base, so they actually just fought 4v5, the blue team, and they managed to score an ace off of that. I really think the biggest mistake was Lucian was on full health. Instead of just sticking with the rest of the team and continuing to team fight, like stick behind his tanks, he has Udyr and Sion to tank for him. Instead, he flashes over the wall, runs down here, gets a kill on Urgot, but then dies. I mean, Urgot was out of that fight. Urgot was on like 50 health, and instead, Lucian, oh wow, let's go back and watch that. Instead, Lucian just kind of suicides, and they lose their AD, and with Pyke already dead at the start of the fight, they are not able to claim this one. So, meanwhile, Twitch is trying to solo the dragon, but yeah, not a good idea, because Pyke's going to be all over that one. So nice job, Rienzo. He hit on his Q, followed up with his E, and then just ulted, and gets a very easy kill, and pulls back a huge shutdown on Twitch. So yeah, Twitch with no vision, probably not the best time to try to do that. The fight for the dragon is still on though, so there's the dash over the wall. Does manage to get the stun onto Riven. Was able to ult a second time. Ult is on cooldown now because it didn't actually get the kill, but was able to ult a second time and get more damage. And now this second Drake is going to be a pretty free claim for the red team. So they're going to claim that. And even though the Ocean Drake is maybe not that useful at 22 minutes, it's probably a little late in the game for the Ocean Drake to be that useful. They still did manage to clean up 2 kills. And hey, it's always better to have a dragon than not have a dragon. So back to kind of a narrow lead here, less than 1,000 gold, still an even game. Rienzo, by the way, is 10-2 on this game thus far. And it's not unusual for Pyke to have lopsided score lines like this because of the way his ult works. Nice job by Twitch. Twitch is going to claim 1 kill with his ultimate, but then Rienzo blows him up and cleans that one. Unfortunately, Sion has now gotten stuck behind the tower, so he's going to die. And Rienzo's running away with the not with the Twitch, with the Pyke W, with the Ghost Water Dive. Going to be able to get away from that. By the way, the range on that Q on that Bone Skewer is really good, and the dash ranges of the Phantom Undertow is quite nice too. You can get over a decent number of the walls on Summoner's Rift, and wow, he is fast when he pops that W. Look at that Ghost Water Dive. Nice speed up. So hopefully you can see why, I mean, obviously Rienzo's having a good game here, but hopefully you can see why Pyke is got just a really, like I said, kind of an overloaded kit in a way. He's just got a lot of stuff in his kit. At this point in time, the blue team is looking to do the Baron, and so Rienzo is going to try to ward them off. He's going to make a mistake though. He goes in kind of early. He looks to toss in the Bone Skewer, but the rest of his team is not there, and Baron had enough health that he really didn't need to go in that early. Now, he might not have known how much health it had left, but there really was no need to go in. Meanwhile, Nico's going to hit on the root. Unfortunately, that ult was not the best, only hit 1 person. But Udyr is going to get a kill on Riven. And meanwhile, down here, Lucian is actually staying behind his tanks this time in order to DPS. Meanwhile, fight is now shifted up here. Udyr is going to flash in. Does not manage to get that kill onto the Jarvan player. And now Shen is running around, but Shen is behind the fight. There's not much he can do. Let's see if Twitch can manage to turn this around. So Twitch coming out of D-Stealth. Twitch is going to get the kill on Nico. And it's going to turn into a 2-for-1 at the tail end of that fight. Full fight is a 4-for-3 in favor of the red team. Largely inconclusive. Didn't particularly favor one side or the other. And Baron is still sitting there untaken. So, like I said, Rienzo may not have had vision of how much health the Baron had, but it was actually not particularly close to dying, and he probably didn't have to have to go for that. Oh, by the way, check out the blackout. This has been seen. So this is coming from the Dust Blade. When spotted by an enemy ward, reveal traps and disable wards around you for 8 seconds. So I talked about the skilling order for Pyke. Q first, E second, 1 point in W. Obviously scale your ult when it's available. By the way, look at the range on that. That he can dash through that wall is pretty disgusting to get mobility like that. As far as itemization goes, Rienzo first went ahead and finished his support item, Eye of the Aspect, says he does need to be able to place wards. And of course he can convert that health into additional AD. The cooldown reduction, not terribly useful on Pyke, but you do want to have a support item if you're playing support so you can put the wards down on the map. After that, he went for the Ghost Blade and then for the Dusk Blade. So this is kind of like classic AD caster / AD assassin builds. You get more attack damage, you get more cooldown reduction on both of these. And the big thing is you get lots and lots of lethality. Lethality is what used to be called armor penetration, but allows you to ignore enemy armor and allows you to just do lots and lots of damage, even if the enemy team is stacking armor. If they're not stacking armor, you just do true damage to them. Unfortunately, Lucian got picked off elsewhere on the map, and that is going to be a problem for this team. In fact, it would be an even bigger problem for them, except for one thing that just took place. If you guys might have seen this before, but Riven is actually not here. Riven has disappeared, and she's just hanging out back in the fountain. Unfortunately, though, Rienzo gets picked off in mid. He was grabbed by a Twitch that was emerging from stealth. Didn't know that Twitch was there. And now Nico is going to look to go in, but that was a mistake, Nico. Nico actually flashing in, but then just dying instantly because turns out Twitch is pretty strong. If you look at Twitch, Twitch now has Infinity Edge, has Static Shiv, has the Runin's Hurricane, and is building towards something else. Has like half of another item, whatever it's going to be. And yeah, that Twitch does a really high amount of damage when Spray and Pray gets popped. And with Rienzo dead and with Nico dead, there's not a lot that Red Team can do, so they really just have to give up this inhibitor. I don't know if I've showed this, but Rienzo actually has the most gold on his team. He is out in front of the rest of the team. And he's going to look to come in here right now. Sion gets the initial stun onto Twitch, and that's just not good by that Twitch, because he needed to stay safe behind his front line. He didn't. That Q's going to miss, but Udir's there with the stun. And so now they're able to pull that off, and they're able to claim 2 kills back. And I think that was kind of needless by Blue Team. I think they could have gotten the inhib and gotten out. I don't think that they needed to take that much damage. But unfortunately for them, Twitch gets caught. And so that's going to then, looks like it's going to give another dragon over to the Red Team. Blue Team is actually ahead in gold right now, even though Riven is, chilling back at the fountain. But the other team is actually ahead. And now Jarvan, can he get away from that? A really nice dodge on the Bone Skewer. I think if Rienzo hits that Q, then they are able to claim that kill. But Dragon should still be relatively safe for them. It is an Ocean Drake, which is not the most useful Drake in this situation. But one thing that you should always keep in mind, even if it's kind of like a Dragon you're not as interested in, wow, almost got that on, almost managed to go in and get that. And then together with the Shenel, they're actually able to kill Udyr, so not bad. Not bad at all from Blue Team. However, Nico is now here, Lucian is here, they're doing a nice job of flanking. That's a nice Nico ult right there. Gonna blow up the Jarvan right there, sharing the gold with Nico. And now they're just chasing after Shen. He gets off a nice flash, but again, E over the wall, and it's only a matter of time until he can chase this down. Shen might have mobility boots, so as long as Lucian keeps hitting them, he's not going to be able to trigger those mobility boots, and eventually he's going to die. Whoops! Whipped Pyke ultimate there. Sorry, Rienzo. That one won't be on the highlight reel for this particular game, but he's hit on a lot of them. So just remember, Pyke ultimate is a skill shot. You are not guaranteed to hit it. Has a pretty large hitbox if you're near somebody. But, they can always juke to the side or something like that and not be able to get it. As I was mentioning before, in terms of itemization, so I mentioned Ghost Blade, Dusk Blade, lots of armor penetration, lots of flat AD, additional lethality. And then after that, has just gone and grabbed the Guardian Angel, which makes sense. Rienzo's never going to be very tanky. He is going to need to be in the middle of the fights, so something that gives him attack damage, armor, and allows him to revive on taking damage. Seems like a pretty good item. This is the same way that an AD caster, somebody like, say, Pantheon is going to be built. You're going to see a very similar build. Right there gets the stun on Twitch, which is just what they need. So, going to get blown up, but look, this is setting up the rest of the fight perfectly. They're able to get the kill on Twitch. Twitch is the #1 target that they need to burst down in this fight. So they are able to get the kill on Twitch. And the Guardian Angel coming in really handy right there. And at this point, they're going to look to turn and take the Baron. With Twitch dead and with Urgot dead, it's going to be really tough for Blue Team to challenge. Again, in part because they don't have Riven. It's unfortunate that Riven's not here. Rienzo's going to look to try and ward this Jarvan away, try to stop him from getting over there. Misses the Q though, and oh boy, Jarvan actually almost steals that. He did not get the steal, but I saw the Baron at 71 health at one point. Really well played by the Jarvan on the enemy team. Even though he wasn't able to get that, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He had to try to get that steal. Just came up a little bit short, but did everything possible to put himself in a position to claim that Baron. And blue team, unfortunately, probably does need to steal a Baron if they're serious about winning this game. Because if Riven's not back, it's going to be almost impossible for them to win this game, barring something like a Baron steal or just a horrible, horrible misplay on the part of the red team. We've just hit the 30-minute mark. Twitch is going to look to go in. Nico is trying to use that pop plus, and Nico is going to get the kill. Or did she? Oh, she got a kill on somebody. Oh, right there. Nice Urgot ult. They do finally take the tower. Probably should not have engaged that with Rienzo's Pyke and with Udyr not being there. Probably could have been a little bit more hesitant, but they have the numbers advantage. They might as well use it. They've got Baron to push with the Baron minions, and there's not a lot the blue team can do at this point to stop them from pushing over this Nexus or this inhibitor turret. Can still stop them from the Nexus, but can't really stop them from the inhibitor turret. Also, I don't know why Udyr is taking blue right now. Feels like Udyr should probably be with the rest of the team right now. He's pinging the bottom tower, but he probably should just be with the rest of the team so they can push this 5 right now with the Baron minions. So yeah, Udyr is down here trying to shove the bot lane, but that means only 3 are here, and this is a very risky push on the enemy team's turret. They do have the Baron buff, but they probably should be getting out right now. Like, this is just not a safe place to be. And you're going to see this right here. Rienzo's going to pop his W and look to escape, but it's not going to be enough for Sion. Sion's going to flash away, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make it out of here. Just too much damage, and yep, Urgot ultimate drags him in. So congrats, Udyr did get this turret, but probably not worth, in all honesty. They could have gotten that turret in bot lane really easily anyway. I think that they would have done better to group, and I think they especially would have done better to back just a little bit sooner. Like, if you notice they started hitting the inhibitor, they probably should have just gotten the tower and backed, and if they had done that, I think they make it out okay. So red inhibitor has respawned. Their mid lane inhibitor is back up. Well, I've got a minute here in the game. Overall situation, red team's ahead by 6,000 gold. They are also ahead 3 dragons to 0, and the next dragon that's about to spawn is an Infernal Drake. So that is going to be something that both teams very much want to catch. It is basically a 20% swing in AD and AP. Why is that? Because the team that gets it is plus 10%. The team that misses it is effectively minus 10%. Like, the difference between one team getting it versus another team getting it is a 20% swing in terms of AD and AP. And that's the blue team in particular is going to need something like that to get back in it. Rienzo is basically done with his build at this point. He's finished the Sterix Gauge. Again, kind of useful for for kind of like ADs that need to get into the middle of the fight. Like, this is a common item on champions like, say, Jax or Darius, or just AD champs that kind of need to get into the middle of the enemy team because it gives them health and attack. Oh, wow. And that went down really fast. They killed that super fast. So Rienzo can't make use of the health on this item, but he can make use of the attack damage and also that lifeline passive. Upon taking at least 1,400 damage, gain a shield. So he really needs the shield, and that's probably the biggest reason why that lifeline passive is probably the main reason why he wants that. By the way, he's at 450 AD, right? Or was there for a second. Not sure why it just jumped down for a second. But yeah, he was it due to the Dustblade going on cooldown here? Something like that. Yeah, but he is over 400 AD, and it's not quite as good as it might sound because he kind of has bad AD scaling. Anyway, we're going to watch this. I'm going to slow it down so we have a big fight. Twitch is going to open up. It's a really nice Shen taunt from the enemy team, and it's just like crazy damage getting exchanged all over the place. But watch Lucian back here. Lucian has some nice positioning. He is staying behind Udyr, and Sion is going to die. Oh, he should not have flashed forward, though. That was a mistake. But the silent passive is going to come up huge here. Watch Udyr staying alive. It's a nice taunt from the Shen. They need to kill this Lucian to win the fight, but another shield comes in. Udyr is just cycling through his stances. Sion passive coming up so big, so much extra damage in this fight. And when the dust clears, Lucian is the only one still standing. So it was a great initiation. Twitch opened up. Shen had a really, really sweet taunt. I think he got 2 or 3 of them. But ultimately, in the end, they were not quite able to get the kill onto Lucian. If they'd had Riven, I feel like that fight might have gone differently, but they didn't have Riven, and so Lucian should be able to just finish this one off. There's nobody alive on the red team or on the blue team, and they just go ahead and surrender because I guess they wanted to save the 10 seconds it would take for the Nexus to be pushed over. So a little bit sad in the way that game ended, in that the Riven player was gone for like the last 10 minutes. She was there until about 25 minutes and then was gone after that. And yeah, unfortunately, it would have been a really interesting finish to this game if Riven had been there, but ultimately disappeared from the game, and only so much you can do. The reason why I wanted to put this on YouTube is I didn't have any footage of Pyke as yet. I wanted to do a Pyke game. This was super helpful for me, both in terms of getting a chance to highlight Pyke as a champion, and also I didn't really know what Pyke did in terms of his kit. So it was helpful for my benefit as well, so I could really get a sense for how this champion played, what he's strong at, what he's weak at, and kind of how to play both as him and against him. So thanks for sending me this replay, Rienzo. Glad I was able to cast it and put it on YouTube. Anyway, until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I'll see you guys again soon. Until then, take care. See you again.